My name is Evelyn, and if there's one thing I've learned in life, it's that quiet women are always underestimated. People look at us, our soft smiles, our gentle nods, our polite habits, and they think, harmless, easy to control, won't make trouble. Funny thing is, those same people never realize that quietness isn't weakness, it's strategy, it's observation, it's patience. And patience, when paired with pain, breeds deadly precision. This story, my story, is proof. It begins with something small. Something stupid, really, just 2 Super Bowl tickets. But sometimes the smallest theft reveals the largest betrayal, and sometimes, the softest woman becomes the sharpest knife. I had always been the invisible achiever at Maxwell Consulting. Not glamorous, not loud, not the type managers show off during board meetings. But I worked. God, I worked. Late evenings, early mornings, lunch breaks turned into meeting marathons. While others posted their office selfies with iced coffee and motivational quotes, I was the one actually doing the work behind the scenes. So when our CEO announced a massive internal performance competition with a prize everyone wanted, 2 fully paid Super Bowl tickets, I saw it as a sign. Not a sign from the company. Not a sign from luck. A sign from my dad. He died 3 years earlier. Heart attack. Sudden. Cruel. But football, especially the Super Bowl, was our ritual, our father-daughter religion. We'd sit on the couch every year. Chips everywhere. Our dog stealing nachos. And my dad shouting at referees. Like they personally wronged him. We had always said, one day we'll go there. In person, just you and me, real stadium, real seats, real electricity. He never got to live that dream. But I could. So I poured myself into the competition. Like it was oxygen. I hit every target, every metric, every corporate benchmark that managers pretend nobody can reach. When they announced I won, HR emailed me first. Congratulations, Evelyn, you earned the Super Bowl package. I stared at the screen for a full minute, without blinking. Then I cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just a soft collapse of years of grief and longing. I whispered, this one's for you, Dad. It was perfect. Until it wasn't. It happened the next morning. I arrived at work early. Coffee in hand, heart full, future bright. My boss, Daniel Collins, called me into his office. Daniel was the type of man who smiled like he was doing you a favor, and talked like everything he said was the final truth of the universe. He leaned back in his overpriced leather chair, and gave me that fake corporate grin. Evelyn, we have a small issue. My stomach tightened. What kind of issue? Well, he said, HR can't seem to locate your Super Bowl tickets in the system. My heart dropped. What do you mean, can't locate? They were assigned last night. Probably a glitch, he shrugged. I'll look into it. I pulled up my account. The tickets were gone, deleted, erased like they never existed. I called HR immediately. And then the truth hit me like a truck. Evelyn, the HR representative said, your boss picked up your tickets half an hour ago. He said you authorized him. I froze. Authorized him? Why would I authorize anyone to take the only thing I'd earned for myself in years? My throat burned. Can you repeat that? I whispered. Daniel picked them up, signed the retrieval form, and said you were busy. So he was doing you a favor. A favor. A favor. That word tasted like poison. I didn't scream, didn't shout, didn't run to Daniel's office. I simply said, thank you. I appreciate the information. Then I hung up slowly and walked to his office. He smirked as soon as he saw me. Oh, Evelyn, he said. I'm sure this will get sorted. Just a silly system issue. I looked at him, straight into his eyes, didn't blink. Then I smiled. A small, polite, deadly smile. That's fine, I said quietly. Enjoy the game. His smirk widened, because he thought he won. He thought my silence meant surrender. But what he didn't realize, it meant war. Revenge isn't loud. Revenge is preparation. Revenge is data. Revenge is timing. So I began collecting. First, I approached the problem like an analyst. What rules did he break? What laws did he violate? What documentation did he sign? I asked Tower for an email copy of the retrieval log. For my personal records. They sent it. His signature was right there. Bold, confident, stupid. I requested the same from the event vendor. Just checking if everything matches. They sent their copy too. Next, I reviewed the company's benefits policy. It clearly stated, awarded employee benefits cannot be collected by another party under any circumstances. Violation of this clause fell under an ethics breach. An ethics breach trigger. Mandatory investigation by external auditors. Exactly what I needed. I started building a digital folder. Then a backup. Then a backup of the backup. Emails, forms, rules, timestamped documents, the HR phone call summary. Everything. I even visited the security desk. "Hi," I said sweetly. "Can I confirm if camera 3 in the lobby was working yesterday morning? There was a power outage recently. Just making sure nothing was missed." The guard checked. "All cameras operational," he said. "Perfect. I didn't request footage yet." Timing mattered. I stayed quiet at work. Didn't avoid Daniel. Didn't act angry. Just calm, polite, invisible. He bragged to his buddies the entire week. Front row seats. Hotel stay. Exclusive passes. He said he deserved it. Maybe he truly believed that. Bullies often do. Most employees don't know this. Large companies fear compliance violations more than they fear lawsuits. Because lawsuits can be settled quietly. But compliance issues, they ruin reputations, trigger federal audits, scare investors, damage stock value, threaten executives' bonuses. And Daniel, in his stupidity, walked straight into the perfect trap. I filed a whistleblower complaint. Through the external federal ethics line. Not our internal system. That meant, the company was legally required to start an investigation with independent third-party auditors. They couldn't cover it up. Couldn't ignore it. Couldn't protect Daniel. Because now, his theft wasn't just unethical. It was officially a federal compliance matter. I attached the retrieval logs, the timestamps, the HR call summary, the direct policy violation, his signature, the rule he broke, and the possible legal penalties. I hit submit, and the wheels of justice began to turn. Slowly, quietly, unstoppably. 5 days before the Super Bowl, 2 auditors arrived at the office. Nobody knew why, but I did. Their presence created a tension so thick, you could cut it with a paperclip. They requested security footage, employee logs, HR files, event award records, policy documents. I stayed quiet, worked like normal, answered emails, took meetings. On Wednesday afternoon, I saw the auditors speaking to Tower. They held papers. They looked concerned. My heartbeat stayed steady. Revenge is sweetest when it arrives quietly. Daniel still had no idea. He packed early on Thursday, rolling his suitcase down the hallway with the excitement of a child going to Disneyland. He saw me passing by and actually waved. "Try not to work too hard this weekend, Evelyn." He laughed. I stopped, turned, smiled. "You too," I said. "Have fun at the game." He grinned. I did too, but for very different reasons. Everything broke the next morning. 9:14 a.m. Everyone's email chimed at once. A message from the compliance division. Subject: immediate termination. Daniel Collins. People gasped. Meetings stopped. Coffee cups froze midair. The email read, "Due to violation of federal ethics standards, Daniel Collins has been terminated effective immediately. Details to follow." 15 minutes later, another email went out. A second gasp rippled through the office. "Due to unauthorized collection of event awards, the rightful winner, Evelyn Carter, will receive her Super Bowl package." Grace ran to my desk. "Evelyn, what did you do?" I shrugged lightly. "I didn't do anything. I just followed procedure." People stared at me differently that day. Not because I looked stronger, but because I looked dangerous. Quiet people always hold surprises. Daniel didn't disappear quietly. Security escorted him out. He shouted. He argued. He blamed he blamed the auditors. He blamed the system. But the system wasn't the problem. His arrogance was. His wife started posting vague messages online. "Life is unfair.
Some people get punished too harshly. Please pray for us. By evening, I received a call from compliance. Ms. Carter, the investigator said. Thank you for your cooperation. Your evidence was extremely helpful. I thanked them politely, hung up, and closed my eyes. Justice tastes like cold water. After years in the desert, I flew out Saturday afternoon. Alone, peaceful, free. When I settled into my stadium seat, I felt something unexpected. Not triumph, not victory, not power, just quiet. The same quiet I used to destroy a man who thought he could walk over me. The lights dimmed, the crowd roared, the teams ran out, the night burned electric. I held the tickets tightly, the same ones Daniel tried to erase from my life. I whispered, "This one's for you, Dad." For a moment, I swear I felt him there. In the noise, in the lights, in the air, the game began. I let the world wash over me. Later, during halftime, Grace texted, "OMG, Daniel is online begging for job references. He says he was wrongfully fired." This is comedy gold. I locked my phone, took a deep breath, and smiled, not because he suffered, but because justice finally stood on my side. Monday morning, I walked into the office like normal. No makeup, no special outfit, just me. People whispered. Some looked at me with awe. Some with fear, most with respect. Daniel was gone. A new interim manager was assigned. HR quietly updated the policy to specify that award theft was a firing offense. Funny how companies only fix rules after someone breaks them in a spectacular way. By afternoon, the CEO called me into her office. She said, "Evelyn, thank you for bringing this to light. We're promoting you to senior analyst." I accepted calmly. Inside, I screamed. She ended the meeting with, "And for what it's worth, we're proud of you." I left the room with steady steps. Heart full, future open. Daniel, he tried applying to 3 other consulting firms. Every one of them flagged his ethics violation. During screening, his career was over, not because I sought to destroy him, but because he destroyed himself. When he tried to steal from someone who wasn't afraid to fight back silently. Sometimes people ask me, would you do it again? Would you go through all of it just for 2 tickets? And I always answer the same way. It was never about the tickets. It was about respect. When someone takes what you earned, they're not just stealing an object. They're stealing dignity, effort, time, memory, dreams. And if you let them, they do it again, and again, and again. But if you fight back, even quietly, you show the world that you're not a doormat. You're a force. I'm still a quiet woman. Still soft, still gentle. But now, people think twice before crossing me. And that, my friend, is the art of silent revenge.